All right. All right. So my name is Miyuki Takino. I'm teaching business communication in Japan, Tokyo, and I have been interested in BELF from the starting of my study. And now I'm doing research, teaching, and also supporting some Japanese companies. So I go straight into the presentation. So I think all of us and many of us believe or interested in BELF because BELF Insight could empower global professionals. This is because 20 years of BELF research has identified how multilingual professionals make English work effectively in many different international settings, in different countries, industry, and type of business. So this research offers recurring practical insight for teachers and trainers. Many of us, I think, have already drawn all those insights in our work, in our teaching, in our research. And the next step is to translate these insights into a clearer, more accessible, and more actionable framework for practice. So this is today, I'm going to propose my idea of that framework. So I want to start from real world trigger, why I started thinking about it. So it was about post-acquisition integration in Japan. So there are two companies. IG, it means international giant, a large global multilingual corporation using English across international operations. So everybody in the company speak good English. And the next one is the DJ. This is the domestic Japanese, a Japanese specialist firm with deep technical expert, and most of the staff have the master degrees. So they have the high professional expertise, but very limited English skills. And this IG acquired DJ in 2025. And post-merger integration required English-mediated communication and collaboration across the two organizations. And because I wrote a book in Japanese about BELF and learning BELF oriented business communication, I was invited to provide English training for DJ. Then this led me to develop a BELF-informed communication framework and support program for both IG and DJ. So challenge in DJ. At the beginning, I have conducted interview or questionnaire and also some of the observation of their meetings. And the problems I have, or challenges, I should say, challenges I identified were first, participation and voice, silence, very quiet Japanese side, delayed feedback because they find it difficult to give feedback promptly and difficult contributing to English meetings and workload and bottlenecks. All suddenly, DJ people have to translate and rewrite a lot of documents, and it is a really heavy workload. And a lot of people said that they need to do this for during the overtime. And also too much reliance on few bilingual staff. There were bilingual staff, but too much reliance. And finally, psychological safety and uncertainty. So a lot of people feel anxiety about asking for clarification, expressing opinion in English, and together with concern about career. This is natural after the acquisition, but English communication give another pressure for that. So it seems language training alone cannot address these problems. Communication design also matters. So my question here is, how can BELF research be translated into a practical framework for teaching, training, and supporting in multilingual and English-mediated collaboration. And my response are three steps. First, reframe BELF. So BELF research are mainly studying about effective BELF managers and then find out how they did. So this is called descriptive research, but maybe transform to the practical resources for communication design. Second, translate BELF insight into design resources. So I call it BELF Enable Bundle here, but drawing on thematic analysis meaning that I have over 100 BELF research and then did the thematic analysis and then find out what are the keyword for them. And finally, expand the framework to AI-mediated work. Soon after I start working with DJ, I realized everybody, not majority, everybody use AI, and AI was indispensable too. And there are also complexity of using AI. So I thought it was important to extend the framework how to use AI effectively in BELF environment. So I'm going to introduce the my enabler bundle here. So these are the overview, and then I'm going to go one by one. So bundle one, goal-focused communication, BELF insight. Business communication in English is more likely to succeed when people share norm that achieving the task rather than demonstrating native-like fluency is the goal. And the risk address, meaning that the potential risk. Fluency become proof of competence. So fluency in English become the proof of competence. And then less fluent voice are lost. So it's exactly the case for DJ. And also practical actions. Here in I draw some of the BELF research and also business research about practical actions. But I have to say, BELF itself is locally developed. This is not single picture fit everybody. So it's more like the framework rather than the to-do list. So first is build a shared BELF norm. Goals, clarity, and contribution matter more than fluency. And develop a shared simple routines that keep communication focused on the work to be achieved. So this is bundle one. Bundle two. Bundle two, mutual accommodation and repair. For the BELF researchers, accommodation is very familiar word to help each other to change the language use so that the listener can understand easily. And repair means to repair the communication breakdown or misunderstanding. So BELF insight is intelligibility is achieved through this kind of collaborative interaction, not through perfect individual English. So the collaborative interaction is very important. And then risk address, silence misunderstanding, meaning that people are silent, and then that could be interpreted as agreement or maybe no opinion. Face risk in asking questions, and reward because of the misunderstanding. So practical action, develop and share routines that normalize clear, accessible English, clarification, paraphrasing, recapping, and non-bragging repair. Examples, fluent speaker use clearer, less idiomatic English. Cheers pause for questions and recap key points. Participants check meanings through paraphrase. So this is the main BELF-related research. I draw the insight. Bundle 3, shared terms, format, and reference points. Teams gradually build shared terms, format, and reference points that make workplace communication more precise, easier to understand and easier to reuse. Risk address, the same word may be understood differently, and local knowledge may be lost or misunderstood because of the difference of the meaning. Practical action. Develop and share lightweight meaning resources such as key terms with local language support and common template and document format so that maybe it's easier for everybody to share. So those are the papers. Bundle 4, Integrative Multilingual Practices. BELF Insight. BELF communication is multilingual in practice. Local language are used as resources for speed, nuance, precision, and trust. Risk address, unshared local language sidework, meaning that I just speaking in Japanese for a while and then it is not shared. Fragmented knowledge and exclusion from shared coordination. So somebody may be excluded from the local communication. Practical action. Normalize the strategic use of local languages while bringing key outcomes back into shared English. Use bilingual materials where useful. So those are the references. Bundle 5. Inclusion and voice. BELF Insight. More people can contribute to English mediated work when expertise, relevance, and clarity are valued more than accent or fluency. Risks addressed. Expert being silent, meaning for those who are less fluent in English but could be expert of the local market. Local knowledge being underused and unequal power balance based on the English fluency. So practical actions, accessible participation design, invite expert prompt and structured turn taking, pre-read materials for preparation, facilitation and summarizing for clarification. Bundle 6. So this is a little bit different because this is not from BELF research, but more from AI research. But in reality, in DJ, AI can widen participation because AI can make English mediated work easier to translate, draft, comprehend, and prepare across languages. However, polished output from AI can also reshape meaning, tone, stance, and local communicated practice. And I have identified two risks in this in DJ. So this is the original idea that I have developed. One is surface fluency. That means AI provide polished English, very polished, very strong, very sounds nice, convincing, but may be difficult for the center to explain, verify, or take responsibility for because the language is too polished, too maybe native-like. The sender is unable to real meaning or cannot explain during the meetings. And silent cultural adjustment. AI quietly shift tone, stance, argument style, or local communicative practice. That means AI usually learn from native English, and native business English tend to encourage being confident or clear or maybe convincing. But maybe the original communication includes some concerns or hesitations or politeness, but without noticing. Because this is done by AI, the sender do not really notice, but AI quietly adjust those culture. So what could we do that? Practical action is self-oriented AI calibration. That means treat AI output as a draft, not as a final message. Because in DJ, I find that if you're not very confident about English, then AI generated very confident English sounds very nice, and they'll find it difficult to change. But I find that they have to treat AI output as a draft. Secondly, calibrate the output for purpose, audience, meaning, tone, and level of dialectness using BELF principles. So meaning that if you have concern, you have to make sure it is expressed. So you have to adjust, calibrate, and ensure that the sender can explain, follow up, and be responsible for the message. If very convincing, very confident message are sent without notice of the sender, then it's difficult to be responsible for. So this is a bundle of six. So how six bundles work together? The bundles work together to support multilingual collaboration. So those bundles are not mutually exclusive or independent. So for instance, clear meaning, goal-focused communication, and shared meaning resources. Wider participation could be established, multilingual accommodation and repair, inclusion and voice. More reliable knowledge in circulation, integrated multilingual practice, AI-mediated calibration. So from framework to practice. So I would like to briefly, within 10 minutes, explore how I do in IG and DJ. So first, I need to show why BELF matters for business. This is not about communication, but this is about business output. So better sharing of professional expertise, earlier identification of the risks, better informed, higher quality decisions, more effective collaboration, and stronger commitment to agreed action. Then I also said, oops, no, oops, how can I go? Oh, no, here. Okay, I don't need what. Okay, next one. Okay, establish and share practical BELF norms and expectation across IG and DJ. And in order to do that, I provide role appropriate support that enable people to use these norms. So I involve both experienced and less experienced users of English. So three ongoing BELF support program I am doing now in IG and DJ. First, DJ Senior Executive. So this is the initial invitation. They wanted to have quick adjustment how senior executives, meaning that directors or managers frequently communicate with the executive of IG, feel expert with less BELF experience, ready to use BELF aware communication frameworks. And project two, I called because in future they have more collaboration. So we decided we need to have core future manager program that is more long-term BELF aware communication workshop and English training. And then we discussed, and then we decided maybe we also need something for IG because stronger English speaker also accommodate the English. So the order is different, but finally we decided to do Project Jet Zero, we call IG executive leaders, skillful BELF users, but share BELF norms and BELF enable bundles. So Project DJ Senior Executive, I shared BELF norms, use clear, accessible English, don't afraid to use simple English. Simple English is good enough. And then use simple structure and explicit message, meaning that if you have some key message, you have to say explicitly. And in order to do that, maybe follow simple template and prioritize task goals and mutual understanding over accuracy. So they feel a kind of shame that they are not able to use English as they wanted to. But priority is also goal and mutual understanding. And also, I first proposed thought of AI BELF calibration. So this is how they can do that. And also in here, I also said that stress AI output is maybe polished, but this is not important. They have to transform this output into understandable English for them. Project 2, DJ Core Future Manager. Develop English communication skills for BELF-informed collaboration. So they are typically managers, frontier managers, around age of late 20s to maybe early 40s. So develop English skills for long term. So focus on communicative goals rather than language forms alone. So this is again similar principles, but develop familiarity with BELF communication practices. For instance, how they can accommodate, how they can ask the clarification, how they can repair the breakdown, how they can express the opinion. So I have been trying to have sort of training session for that. And, and also, I have developed understanding of IG and its way of working. So IG style is more like global communication. So I try to make them experience, try, and maybe familiarize with those practices. And finally, this is Project Zero, as I said, that additional core strategies for IG executive leadership. So those are really top executive of these multinational corporations. And then I try to persuade more accessible English and stronger wealth-oriented clarification support, simpler language, explicit meaning checks, and clear opportunities for ask questions because DJ managers find it difficult to get timing or time to express their opinions, shared routines and tools, simple agendas, visible key points, preparation template, and also visible leadership expectation. Signal that question and clarification are welcome and speaking up is expected. Active encouragement to participate. Invite DJ managers to ask questions, respond, and raise alternative views. So challenge and open questions, condition and constraints. Under pressure of real-world business, how can self-aware communication work? Under severe time pressure, power imbalance, or political conflict, mean they won't want to collaborate much, or high-risk decisions. So those are the real-world pressure. And what exactly are the BELF calibration? I have proposed initial BELF calibration, but this is something new, and I'm not quite sure what could be BELF calibration in practice, practical guide for users, and how such calibration can be shared in organizations. Also, I have two other issues. Who should read self-aware communication design? Is it senior leaders, HR, IT, or cross-function team, or somebody outside, like the consultant, or teachers, trainers, like me? Or what would be the leading teams of implementing this? And how should organizations evaluate effectiveness of self-aware communication? Because most of the expected outcome is qualitative rather than quantitative. So you cannot really make the numbers. So how can we evaluate? So those are the challenges and open questions I have. And I think I have questions for you. Do you think Valve Enabler Bundle could be useful in your context? And how can we develop a shared, useful framework for Valve-aware teaching and training? And I also have an invitation to continue the conversation because I have proposed BELF Enable Bundle as an initial framework, not finished model. I would welcome further discussion with the members of the such group about how to make BELF Insight more accessible and usable. Possible next steps, share examples from different teaching and training contexts, identify which bundle are useful, unclear, or missing. develop practical example. I have some, I have proposed some of the practical actions, but more tips, design resources together. So if you're interested in exploring the BELF enable bundle together, please contact me. So that's it, my presentation. So I come back to my questions. Do you think BELF enabler bundle could be useful in your context? How can we develop a shared useful framework for BELF aware teaching and training? I think that's the end of my presentation. Thank you.